kicking this one off is an article from Polygon titled, Marvel Boss Calls Avengers 4 the Conclusion to 22 Movie Arc Homecoming Sequel to Mark New Period. Now, I've been speculating for a while now. I think this is kind of where I started at. My very first Marvel video, I believe, I was postulating that Infinity War was going to be the end of the storyline that's going on, the interwoven storyline. It's a very good possibility that what has been being established at Marvel Comics, and it's kind of been confirmed in various places, not official, but various places that are pretty trustworthy, that the directives they're getting and the characters they're being told to push are coming from on high. And it's coming from, I think, high. My personal thing is I think that they're coming higher than Axel Alonso, who is editor-in-chief, but they are being filtered through him and Tom Brevoort and the like into the SJW warriors that they have become the past few years. So it says, the sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming will kickstart a new chapter for the Marvel Cinematic Universe after the events of Avengers 4. Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige confirmed. Feige told the Toronto Sun that Avengers 4, which currently does not have a working title, would be the last installment in the current MCU. After that movie, Feige explained, the sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming will represent a new period for Marvel. It will help to kickstart a new MCU future with new superheroes for audience to get to know. And this it's a very, very good chance that my gut feeling was correct. I kind of hope not, because there seems like there's such a treasure trove of characters that they haven't dug into yet. But like I said, the introduction of Captain Marvel and her film coming out and her being in the Avengers just leads me to believe that this is the direction that we're going. He says the original 22-movie arc ends with the untitled Avengers in May of 2019, and then 2 months later it will be Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Wow, 2 months later after that. I didn't realize that those movies were that close. That usher us into the aftermath and how things proceed from there. So the writer goes on to ask, what does this really mean, though? Despite Feige using the term end, Avengers 4 won't mark the conclusion of a canonical, I hate that word, never know how to pronounce it right, universe. This seems like a logistical decision more than anything else. The contracts for Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, and Chris Hemsworth are coming to an end. Certain actors like Hemsworth, Renner, and Downey Jr. have all expressed an interest in leaving the series at some point, with the latter most recently admitting that he wanted to end his time in the MCU without any kind of major embarrassment, which we talked about in a video this past week. So it goes on to quote from that article, from that interview that I discussed with you guys about how he wants to hang it up before it gets embarrassing, Robert Downey Jr. The sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming will usher in a new period for Marvel, allowing the studio to focus on newer characters just making their debuts. Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, and Black Panther all seem to be strong bets for the company, and they will likely continue into the fourth phase of the MCU. Now, I want to go on record saying that I hope Winter Soldier, if they have to replace Captain America, I would love to see Bucky as Captain America. He seems to me really the only logical choice. Nothing against Falcon, but he just doesn't seem to have the same qualifications as Captain America as far as filling that mantle. I always felt he was kind of shoehorned in there, and I like the character. And in all fairness, I never did read the books where he was Captain America. It just didn't interest me. I just got kind of this feeling about it. I was like, nah, if I'm wrong, let me know. If you really think that I should check that out, let me know. Because I'm open to anything. If I've misread it, that's cool. But the Winter Soldier storyline, and then subsequently later after the death of Captain America in the comic books, Bucky taking up the mantle, seemed to fit really well. And seeing as how he has the same type of strengths and, somewhat of a similar upbringing as Steve Rogers, I see that working a lot better. The question that obviously comes to mind is, in Avengers: Infinity War, are we gonna see a bunch of people die? That's like the question hanging. Are we going to see characters just die? I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have any feelings on this. It's possible. It's possible given the way, like, I mean, it really, guys, it really depends on how these contract talks go. Because like I postulated in the last video talking about Robert Downey Jr. spitting this out in an interview, he's probably in negotiations now. Because it's very common. It's a common practice for actors, actresses to go, they kind of hem and haw in an interview where they know it's going to get back to the studio. Where try to get them to panic, try to move that needle in their favor. In the negotiations, like, okay, don't quit. Look, we'll pay you this. We'll pay you this. Just come back. Just don't talk like that anymore. Make us nervous. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Do you think this is going to mean deaths? I mean, again, it really depends on the contract negotiations. But do you think Black Widow and Hawkeye, they're all really great characters, but they are the kind of the lesser tag-along characters in these films. Nothing against them. It's just they don't have their own movies, or War Machine was kind of sidelined in Civil War. How much will we see of him, in the upcoming film? I don't know. We'll see. Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, and also let me know what characters you'd like to see take over, because there's a good chance it's going to be the ones you're probably worried about. Now, is it possible that Marvel could do them in such a way that it is not the catastrophe that the current story, the current characters are? It's possible. But I personally would like to see more established classic characters get their time in the cinematic sun than these newer kind of shoehorned characters. But I guarantee guys like Bendis are fighting to get their characters in the cinematic universe because, like I said, they want that money. They want that cinema money. And I don't personally blame them. But let me know. Let me know who you'd like to see rise up in Phase 4, because it sounds to me like there's going to be a lot of changes.